Okay, another little neat thing to be able to do is to split your clip. What that literally means is that any image that you have in your work area can be diced. Now, by default, the duration of these pictures, and I'm going to go a little bit out here. The duration of these is roughly in the 4 to 5 second neighborhood. If we come in, we see that they're closer to 5 seconds, or they are 5 seconds. In this instance, that is the default, by the way. And as we come out to the 30,000 foot level, we see that it's a little more difficult to see that, but they're more manageable chunks here. So if we were to go, let's zoom in, and we were to get to a point here where we said, all right, I love this picture, but for some reason, I need to split this thing. Let me get that little bar out here a little bit so I can grab it. You can go anywhere on the timeline and decide where you want to do a split. Now, in Windows Vista, your split is right here. In XP, it's a similar thing because your play button icons are different, and the window's a little different, and so the split, though in the same general area, the icon looks a little different. Now, I will hear from many of those of you who are using XP in the forum giving your description of that. So we can split either a picture. So let's say I wanted to take Adra to the 1 minute mark and split it. I got 2 Adras, and then I want to come out 2 minutes beyond and split it again. Now, a reason for doing such a split with video would make some degree of sense, in that you might just want, or with anything, stop and starting points, and that can be for the purposes of doing fading. We'll talk about later, fading to and from blacks, and doing some of the other editing techniques such as effects, transitions, titles, and the list goes on. But essentially, from a viewer standpoint, if you don't apply any of those editing techniques, a split is rather transparent. So you don't notice much from a split if you're not doing some other editing to go along with that. And so there's definitely a correlation between wanting to add some type of specialty component to the video clip and doing a split. And as you can see, a split is not a tremendously terrible thing to do. Now here we are in the video. Once again, we can split it, but from a viewer standpoint, if we were to play that video, it just goes right on uninterrupted. And another thing about the split is, if you do a split and you decide thereafter that there was really no reason to do it, just like anything else, you can always undo. So that's the split in a nutshell, and it will become more apparent to you why we would use something like that when we get into some of the editing a little bit later in our lesson.